I have no plan for this, guys. I know that is shocking, but welcome to one of the first more long-form videos on the Going Rogue podcast YouTube. We are doing a highly requested video, and by highly I mean 3 of you. What's in the box? So I'm going to go through a lot of the staples of what live in my box year-round, whether it's for practice or games, and then I'll go over a little bit of how some of those things change for, let's say, when I'm in the off-season and I don't have a lot of games coming up versus things that I might shed for when I am in season and I'm doing a lot more throwing. There are a few things that I forgot that I'll just go over verbally with you guys. Sorry. But before we get into what's in the box, I want to go over what the box is. So what I have taken to games over the years has very much evolved. It started as a just duffel bag that I jammed a ton of shit in, and I would also try and carry a cooler and one of those big cheap folding Walmart chairs, and that has shifted a lot over the years, and I've whittled it down to spending money where it matters, and then kind of the things that I like and need that are going to do several things all at once. And that will change for games where I know I can park a lot closer to the field, as opposed to kind of my bare bones setup when I know I'm going to have to hike a million miles up a side of a mountain somewhere through a bunch of mud. After the duffel bag, I went to what's actually holding up my tripod right now, this big fucking thing. So when I went to that, I could carry a lot of stuff everywhere I went, but I couldn't be modular with it, and it was massive and it was heavy at times. I also found that just having one big trunk, I got really messy. I have a tendency just to chuck stuff into there, and so that didn't stay very organized. Where I've landed now is the Husky pack-out boxes. So what's kind of nice about these is if I ever want to do something different, they do all disconnect. So you've got the bottom main box, and that's what the wheels and the handle, which is adjustable, are on. I can go up to a bunch of different heights to make your life easy. But I like that I can swap this box out for another box that's large, for another box that's even smaller, for a box that's segmented, and I can do whatever I want with it, right? So I tend to keep the things that I need quicker and more often in the top box. And the bottom box is for things that hopefully I only have to open up 2 or 3 times throughout the day. Things that I am not going to show you guys because I just don't have them with me today is a soft belt. Over the years I found that I like the 2-ply Spud Ink deadlift belt with the Velcro closure. It's super adjustable. It's rigid enough for me to push into and to feel supported, but not so rigid that I feel like I can't move my torso. My primary shoes from last year bit the dust. I was throwing in jab shoes. I really liked them. I have my backup shoes in here now that work fine, but this is not a shoe review video, so take it with a grain of salt. In the colder months, I will also quite frequently have hand warmers and things like that in here. I just don't right now because today it actually got into the 60s, and that's been pretty cool. So I'm going to move the camera set up so we can try and be really douchey influencers with this and go through what's actually in the box. Oh yeah, this is one of those really cool overhead shots where now I get to look like I almost know what I'm doing. This is great, and I hope the 8 of you that watch this really appreciate the effort that went into this. I had to unfold my truck canopy and everything. So, break this down box by box. The top box. The other upside to this, the reason I went with the Huskies is they are dust and water resistant. So this thing can live in the back of my truck. I can leave it outside, and as long as I've latched this shut, nothing gets in here, which is great. So going through it in no particular order, Wad and Done was mainly what I was using last year for my hands. I don't love throwing in a glove. I like to be able to feel the ring. So for me, having something kind of thin but still protective was a big deal. I do still, however, keep a glove. This is a cheap as all get out Tractor Supply, just deerskin, buckskin glove. It is still fairly thin. It's not there for warmth, I mainly have it so that either A, if it is really cold and wet, or if I've got a callus that is not managed and is either ripped off or about to rip off, that thing's going on. Tackies. I got badger snot. I've got a couple different kinds of stars and thistles in here. I've kind of just acquired these. You can find one tacky that works for you and get the job done. I kind of have liked having multiple kinds for when the weather is different. Pro tip, just remember to set it out in the sun, because if it's been chilly in here, you're gonna have just a brick. More Wad and Duns. A cell phone charging brick. Even if you're not gonna be a douchey influencer like me, being able to, one, record yourself, and two, then keep your phone charged is a big deal to me. A lot of places that we throw out have terrible service, and it's just gonna kill your battery all day long sitting out there in the sun. Have some kind of rag on you. I almost always have a couple of these in my throwing box somewhere. This is a cooling rag that I like to dip in my cooler or pour some water on and throw on the back of my neck. But if you can handle microfiber cloths, I'm a huge fan of them, but not everyone is. So some kind of towels or rags in there to help clean yourself up tacky wise. I have got in here some smelling salts and then the rest of my Wad and Dun tape. Don't use smelling salts for every one of your throws. Again, that's not what this video is about, but don't be that guy. A pair of shears, super handy to have. I have a first aid kit that travels around with me, so it's handy for that. It's also just good to be able to cut your tape for your fingers or your hand, or you want to be really cool and cut the sleeves off of your shirt, go for it. Extra spikes for my shoes. Like I said, the shoes have bit the dust and are unfortunately no longer with us. But I carried around just a locked taped box of extra spikes. That way if they were wearing down or I was losing them, I could replace them. Sunscreen. If I have to explain sunscreen to you, I'm not sure what's up. Tiger Balm, along with horse liniment. You can get that at Tractor Supply. And BioFreeze. So different effects, kind of similar with these two over here, and then Tiger Balm obviously for a little bit of heat. With these, it just depends on how much I want to not feel things, but great to have. This stuff is also just, the veterinary liniment is relatively cheap and you get so much of it, it's fantastic. Compression cuff and a wrist wrap. I will sometimes also have spares of these, just depending on how prepared I was. I like to wear a compression cuff around my elbow so that I don't get tennis elbow when I'm throwing stones. And then obviously I like to support my wrist. This is just one of those little cheap fans you can stick on your waistband. It blows air up your shirt. It's a dumb little gimmicky thing, but God bless it. Just roasting in the sun all day, the more comfortable you can feel, the better. Another thing that's not in these boxes that I recommend is a hat. Get you a big straw hat. They look dumb, but God, they work so well. Caffeine pills that are almost certainly expired by this point. Yeah, for sure expired. So, oh no, expire in 2028. So as long as I can live in this box, I'm keeping those. Little Gatorade hydration packets. I'll usually have that or some Elements that also just live in here because they're shelf stable. There's nothing wrong with them. They stay dry. I apparently have 3 business cards from the Kilted Patriot people. So if you want to screen grab that and call them, go for it. They sponsored every video that we're doing this year, so by all means, check them out, kiltedpatriot.com. I have a patch that I picked up somewhere that I apparently thought was really cool, saying that therapy is expensive, beer is cheaper. It's not untrue. I'm not telling you how to handle your mental health. If you're getting mental health advice from me, you need an actual therapist. So that is the top box. I'm going to put all this stuff back in here and join you guys again for the bottom box. The bottom box. It's Samuel's nickname in college. So the other cool thing about these Husky boxes is you can actually detach this handle and it comes completely out, so that like if you're trying to fit this in an SUV, or when I still had a truck cover on the truck before I went to the rooftop tent and everything, I needed a little more space. That was kind of nice to be able to chop this down and again pack it up however I needed to. So bigger stuff in the bottom box. This is where all of my shoes are going to live. And again, all the things that I hopefully only have to pull out once, because I usually use this as a chair. That's something I'll cover in a second. But typically I just roll this around and sit on it. It's at the perfect height. It's got the little thing for a backrest. It's great. One blue Sirius Steel band. Great place to get bands. They give us stuff every year for the Woodridge games and all the other games I've ever done. So if you're going to buy bands from someone, go get them from Sirius Steel. If any of you have been at a game with me and you wonder, what is that crazy loud sound? It's me, because back in 2017, which I saw today, is when this is stamped. Theraguns were just coming around, and I was like, I'm not going to spend that much money. But then I saw an ad for Jigsaw Massage, and I was like, I will spend the money to just get a little adapter that goes on here, and it gets bent now and then, and I've straightened it out, but that's fine, because it was $20 in 2017, and it's held up great, and this thing will dig into spots, and it's awesome. So I have to take that out and charge it now and then, but it's great. Do I think you should use that next to a sleeping baby's room? No. Get an actual Theragun. They're cheaper now, but have something to actually get into those crevices. Tiny foam roller, speaks for itself. I'm getting older. I like to be able to just kind of, again, work stuff out as I go. Here's a little more tape that fell down to the bottom. That's going to go into the top box. These are my backup throwing shoes. These don't live in the box year round as long as I have my other ones. I've just had to move them into the box because, like I said, my Jav shoes have bit the dust. These I also have had since 2017. And for what I've put them through, they hold up great. They're Reebok's trail running shoes back when Spartan races and all that stuff were all the rage. And your boy was 50 pounds lighter. But they've got a halfway decent tread to them. I don't hate them. They're a great backup. Here's a spare pair of Kilted Patriot socks. If you want some, go buy some. They're actually pretty dope. I'm a big fan of having spare socks, as you can tell. I did not prep too much for this video either, ladies and gentlemen. I know that might shock you. But having a second pair of socks, like I said, a towel. If you can fit a full-size towel in here, go for it. I also will usually put just my backup kilt, because I own 3 at this point. It just lives in the bottom of here. That way I never have anxiety when I'm going out of town. I try to pack my primary one, but I just know that there's always a kilt living in here. Russell, if you're watching this, you have my backup kilt right now. Let me get that back, bud. Hammer boots. You should know what those are by now. If you don't, sorry. That's going to be another video one day. Kilted Patriot goodie packet. Backup glove. Told you, element packets. They're always around. Can you tell that I've just been throwing stuff into the bottom of this? A VSG kilt patch that I need to put on my kilt. Another wrist wrap. Again, I like to have backups. I clearly need to do a little organizing before the season gets going. But I've got 3 more element packets in here. I've got a little bit more sunscreen from the Dublin Irish Festival. I've got a Gorilla Gold tacky towel. Those were given to me. But honestly, I typically have chalk in the top box. I don't have it with me today, but chalk is also a great thing to keep in there. Mine is just currently my gym bag because it's the off season. A microfiber towel. Like I said, this thing is all stiff, not because of the reasons you weirdos are going to think, but because I use it to clean tacky off myself. Here's a sleeve that I cut off my VSG shirt. I kept it in here for the same reason. I'm going to clean tacky off myself. Sunscreen that is empty. Thanks for nothing. Lacrosse ball for the same reason that there's a foam roller and a massage gun in here. And then a crappy little tripod. So at this point, because I try to make videos for you guys and do all this silly stuff, I have a lot of other nicer tripods, like what's currently strapped to my canopy. But I was always a fan of keeping just one super cheap Amazon tripod that will fit my phone in the box, because I can take this and I can strap it to the little handles on this box, and I can record myself, honestly, just for reviewing my own footage purposes throughout the game. That's super helpful. If it's not something that you're doing, you should do it. So that also lives in here and is what it is. Now, I'm going to show you guys a couple other small things that go with me everywhere. You know what? I'm not going to show it to you. I'm just going to tell you. You can stare at my hands. You're welcome. A 2-man sunshade. When it's just me going places, I will show it to you. This is important. Yoink. this is it. And it sits well on top of that box. So when I have the other one here, I just throw this in there and lean it against the back, and I don't have to worry about it going anywhere. Or if all fails, I have strap holes in this box on either side. I could strap it onto there. This is super cheap, but it will keep a light drizzle off your equipment. It will fit you and your cooler in a little camp table. Just being able to get out of the sun and into some kind of shade at your games is important. It goes along with the big hat thing. And then as far as chairs go, I have gone away from carrying the massive Walmart folding chairs to I have a One Tigris brand camp chair that's about this long when it's packed down. And again, it's perfect because it can honestly fit in here as long as I haven't thrown too much crap in here throughout the season. And so I'm not having to carry something else. The other thing that I bring with me is a cooler. But again, it sits perfectly on top of these boxes. Once this handle is raised, it just rests back into it. Sometimes I'll throw the hand strap over it, and it doesn't fall. So I'm able to take everything that I need to get through a full day at whatever game, be in the shade, be out of the elements, and I'm set. So there's my 411 on what is in the box, save chalk, decent shoes, and a couple other odds and ends that I've probably covered. If you guys have other things that you want to see, let me know what they are. If you have other things that you think are important people should know to put in their boxes, tell me. Put them in the comments. I want to know. I'm going to take you guys off of here. God, this is so professional. It hurts. It'll be easy, they said. It's a magnet, they said. There we go. If you guys want to know why I'm not going to be paying for a single hotel all year, it's all this stuff on top of my truck. If you want to know more about that, if that's something that interests you for the purposes of the games or just cause, let me know. I'm happy to share it with you guys. So until next time, subscribe, like, follow us on Instagram. Registration's open for the Blue Ridge Championship / Woodridge Celtic Farm. Woodridge Farm Celtic Festival. That's the game that I've run for 3 years now. Idiot. So go sign up. That is on heavyathlete.com. Go check out Kilted Patriot because they are sponsoring all of our content like this year. Peace.